I think this week, this slate of games, is by far one of the best we've had this season. We have the student teacher, the student coach matchup of Mike McDaniel versus Kyle Shanahan. And this week in his press conference, Mike McDaniel is not demonstrating, but speaking to the media about how Nick Bosa likes to do his pass rush moves on hand sanitizer bottles if he can, whenever he gets the chance to. And I think that, to me, is the game to look out for this week. It's going to be the most exciting. And between these two teams, it's a good test to see what Tua can do against a high-level defense, because the Dolphins have not beat a real playoff team since the start of the season. And now keep in mind, Tua has yet to lose a game while finishing it as a starter. So I feel like for him, this is the litmus test before the postseason where he can show us, and more so this offense can show us what it can do against D'Amico Ryan's defense. Now for San Francisco's front, this Dolphins defense, it's thin in the secondary. They've added in Bradley Chubb, and defensively they have guys on the edge, and also Xavier Howard this year, disappointed, but more so Javon Holland. There's playmakers in that Dolphins front. But I'm kind of curious to see how these two teams stack up, given the coaches, and more so the questions at quarterback. We view these teams under the same light, where there's a ton of playmaking, a lot of star talent, and a good deal of continuity with great coaching. And for me this week, it's a tough matchup, but what's your guys' biggest takeaway this week?
This is a potential Super Bowl matchup. Sorry, excuse me. But yeah, potential Super Bowl matchup. Like you said, this is putting Tua on a big test going up against San Francisco, who I think is the best team in the NFC. Mike McDaniel knows the San Francisco 49ers best out of any team that's in the NFC or AFC. So I think it should be a tough matchup. I think Tua has his hands full with this defense. San Francisco's getting healthy. San Francisco's playing their best football over the last couple of weeks. Ultimately, I don't know if you guys want to pick whoever's going to win this game yet, but I'm going to roll with San Francisco, like I've said before. I think it's in San Francisco. This is a tough battle for Tua. I think Miami's rolling. They got to get punched in the mouth first just to see what they have to fix up. So I think I'm going to lean San Francisco with this one, but it should be a duel.
Mm. No, it's a very important matchup, the 49ers and Dolphins. I think it's going to be a real good test to see where these Dolphins are really at. It's not the truest test. I think that test will come when they face who do they face in a row? They still have to go to they still have to go to Buffalo and New England. Those are two matchups that I do believe. It's more because of the conditions they're going to have to play in, and I really want to see that. And both defenses, Bills and Patriots defenses are good. The Patriots have been pretty much they're more healthier. I think they're a better defense than the Bills. I think the Bills defense can be had. And I think they're a little bit more fraudulent than a lot of people think. But
fraudulent?
Yes,
fraudulent. It's been beat up by injuries everywhere you look this year. No kidding. They've done a great job working through those injuries. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah. So what?
They haven't gotten Tre'Davious White back until Thanksgiving. Von Miller just went out the game he returned. Those are the two best defensive players.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why. It's not fraudulent defense. It's a matter of things not going their way.
So, question. Who needs this game more, San Francisco or Miami?
Miami, easily, because we know what the Niners are.
Recap.
That's a freaking tough one because the Niners are kind of right there. I mean, they're fighting to win their own division, too.
Remember, they have Tom Brady next week.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose these games, but Miami can't either. Like this is literally a must-win for both teams. I believe this is like a must-win. I can't pick. I don't know which one it's more important for because I think both are trying to still win their division, and there are other teams that are biting at the what's the saying? Or nipping at the heels. Sorry. And in the case of Miami, Buffalo is literally right there. And you've got to play them one more time coming up. So, yeah, it's a must-win for both of them. I can't pick which one is more important for. I can't.
And for Miami, this is the start of a 3-game road trip here going to San Francisco. So that only adds more to this upcoming slate because they have a lot of tough games. Even the Packers, right? We've slandered the Packers a lot. I feel like with Aaron Rodgers playing, they're a really good team because they're starting to figure things out. It's just a matter of Green Bay. It's daily and a dollar short. You know, it took Christian Watson until week 10 to really get going, week 9. And at that point, you're already so down the hole. And with the defensive issues, The Packers in this stage of the season can beat you with Aaron Rodgers. It's just a matter of they're not going to make the playoffs because of how deep of a hole they've dug themselves into. So this Dolphins schedule, it gets tougher and tougher from this point out.
Yeah, no, I think it's a must win for Miami more than it is for the 49ers because San Francisco still has another game against Seattle. And Seattle seems to be their only threat for the division title. I think San Francisco's job is just win the division, get over it. And I think with the schedule that they have towards the last 3 games of the season, Commanders, Raiders, Cardinals, they can do that in that final stretch, especially if they beat Seattle and they own the tiebreaker. So, yeah, I'm going to say this is a must win for Miami. We already said that they need the number 1 seed. By doing that, by beating San Francisco, you're well on your way to doing that. So you can't do that if you lose this game. Who does Buffalo have this week?
New England.
New England. Yeah, tonight.
In New
So
England.
How did I
That's
forget
tough.
the Thursday night matchup?
what happened?
How did I forget the Thursday night matchup? I forgot it.
So
No.
that's a big one for Miami. Needs to win this game because even though Buffalo is favored by, I think 3.5 in this one, they absolutely need to make up as much ground as possible on Buffalo. So
There's a lot of big games this week. I can't wait till we get to pick them.
Absolutely. And one more thing with the Niners before we jump to the next part of this. They don't need to win a division to go on a run. Last year, they were the 6th seed, and they were 1 interception away, 1 drop pick from going to the Super Bowl. And I feel like this is a team this year that can replicate that success if the ball bounces their way.